Hey yo, what is good everybody? This is your boy Chad bringing y'all another video. Recording this the same day as one of my other videos, but this will be uploaded at a different time. Alright. But before we get started with um, this video is going to be about Democrat versus Republican. Now, as we know, it's Democrat, Republican, and you have people who are like, they're both the same, they're both two wings to the same bird. Cool, you can feel how you want about it. Me personally, I used to be one who used to think that voting was irrelevant, right? I used to think no matter what you vote, it's never gonna be what you want. It's always a setup, yada yada. And that was when I wasn't knowledgeable, or I just felt like I was out of control of everything of my life. You feel me? Then I kind of woke up to the truth, and I was like, okay. Well, before I woke up to the truth, like I said, I was like, I don't want to vote. It's pointless. And then I was like, well, I'm just gonna vote Democrat because I'm black, and black people vote Democrat, and that's just the best option. And I didn't really do any research behind why I was voting Democrat, or why I would not want to vote, or why I voted Republican, that sort of thing. Then I woke up to the truth, and I was like, okay, there's something off about the parties, especially like when it came time for Biden and Trump, the recent election. I was looking like, okay, I get it, Democrat Biden, Republican Trump. And it was really like, I see the world like, we hate Trump, Trump bad, Orange Man bad, he tweets too much. And I used to just be thinking like, well, what policies don't they like? Because at this point, like I said, I woke up to the truth, so I knew that it's not about people's characters. Well, it is about their character, but it's like, what policies do they put forth that either help or hurt me living in America? You feel me? And I see like one person who has policies on immigration, building a wall, the First Step Act and all of that sort of thing. And then I see another person who's running just based on, let's be counter to whatever Trump does. Like, oh, he tweets too much. Oh, he's racist. Oh, he doesn't care about immigrants. If you don't vote for me, you're not black. Poor kids are just as bright and as smart as white kids. And I'm just like, one side is pandering way too much to my demographic. You feel me? Because it's like when people over pander to you, to me it's like, sums up with that. Like, why are you going so hard to try to get me on your team? You know what I mean? Like, if your team was that good, it would speak for itself. Now, when I'm looking at the history of these two people, one person's views have never changed for years. The other person been against different groups of people, and then when it's time to run for president, they're trying to make it look like he's changed, and he hasn't. And so I'm just like, okay, for the 2020 election, the best choice, in my opinion, would be to vote for Trump, because I'd rather go. It's like Malcolm X said, he said like, the liberal is not your friend, they only pretend to be. And then he also was like, Democrats compared to Republicans. Democrats are the type where he's like, he compared them to a wolf and a fox. He said Democrats are like the fox. They're sly and cunning. They say a bunch of stuff, they promise a bunch of stuff, and then when you get them in power, they end up doing the opposite. It was even in Malcolm X's autobiography. He even said, for Republicans, he was like, they're the wolf. They tell you what it is. This is what it is. Either you accept it or you don't, and that's it. And you're done. They don't make any outlandish promises. They don't do all this extra stuff. They just tell you what it is. Either you accept it for what it is, and then you go about your business. And he was like, I'd rather deal with the wolf, because I know what the wolf's gonna do. I know how the wolf acts, than the fox, who I don't know, and they could do anything. They're gonna trick me. They're gonna be cunning. They're gonna lie. That sort of thing. Now, he also did say in his book, I personally just don't go with any of them. But Malcolm knew what not what the correct choice is, but he knew what the better choice was than just playing to your emotions and hoping for a lot. You feel me? Um, my whole thing on, why how I look at Democrat and Republican is I'm like, okay, Democrats used to be cool, but they've recently been infiltrated by the far left and liberal ideas, like so much progressive ideas that it ends up becoming regressive. Like they think they're making progress, but they're ending up taking away the progress they should be making, and it's becoming real regressive. And I'm like, they're mostly counterproductive to their whole action. Like most Democrats, if you're black, you don't agree with most of this woke culture that's going on, but that's a part of being a Democrat now, because the Democrats have incorporated all the woke BS into their camp. You feel me? Versus the Republicans, they're not with all the woke stuff in my eyes. They're more so like, y'all just be y'all. People just be people. We're all different. Some may be gay, some may be white, black, Hispanic, yada yada. But at the end of the day, we're all Americans. You feel me? Now, you do have the far right who sometimes strays too far and they get too radical, or they say too many outlandish things. I just be like, bro, like y'all are kind of doing too much. But you have I'm just Republican because I don't like lots of government involvement. I want to be able to make decisions for myself. I don't want the government telling me what to do. I don't like high taxes. I don't know. People complain about taxes every year, but yet they vote Democrat, and Democrats always raise taxes. And I just like, that's counterproductive to really how you feel. If you feel like you want low taxes, then why are you voting Democrat? If you don't like the government being involved in everything, well, then why are you voting Democrat? You feel me? So I just look at it like, okay, they both may be trash, but who would benefit me more, and who doesn't have this agenda that's latched onto them? And that's why I vote Republican. Now, at the end of the day, let's say Republicans end up turning into Democrats and Democrats turn to Republicans. You feel me? Like the parties swap their ideas. Then I would be Democrat. And it's not saying like, oh, I'm choosing a side because I choose a side and I'm just black man who's brainwashed by the white man. It's like, no, I know what's best for me personally in America. And to be honest, not even best for me, what would benefit Americans the most. Us having lots of illegal immigrants, not paying taxes and things like that isn't going to help me because I'm paying taxes. They need to too, so they need to just come over legally. You feel me? When it comes to different policies of big government, it's like, I don't want a lot of government. The more government you have, the more the government tries to become your God. More government, they start to become your God because you end up relying on the government. Versus when you have less government, you have to rely not only on you, but God. Like, you rely on God when you don't have that much government, you feel me? At least in my eyes and in my opinion. And that's kind of how I look at both of the camps. Like, I see the far left and I'm just like, where are y'all going? Like, this is actually like really regressive. I see the far right and I'm like, y'all are too radical. You're doing so much that this is why we can't get people to see the bigger picture. At the end of the day, for me, it's like Democrat or Republican. We need to look at the side, the middle. What does the middle tell you? The middle tells you it doesn't matter your race, your sex, your gender. We're all humans. Where do all of us humans live? We all live in America. So where does that make us? Americans. All right? And what do we need to do? Do the best for Americans. So you look at when the left pushes racism and the right's like we're not racist, and the left pushes the woke agenda and the right's like we hate the woke agenda. At the end of the day, they're doing all these different side tactics and measures for both the agendas and both of the camps to distract from the fact that we're all Americans living in America. The only enemy I see at this point being an American is the establishment, which Trump was really against the establishment. He exposed it. He was a Republican for once. He wasn't even a politician. This man was just a regular businessman who exposed that Republicans, those people y'all voted for that you thought were for you, for less government, less taxes, they were rhinos. They were really for everything, the opposite of everything that they said, they were for. You feel me? Then you have the Democrats. He exposed that the Democrats, They really want to just destroy America. And they say they're going to do stuff for all these different groups of people and sexes and stuff, but they're really exploiting you all. And they really don't have your best interests at heart, and they'd rather focus on woke agendas than actually getting stuff done. That's what I saw Trump do. So he made us realize that the establishment is the real enemy. The other real enemy besides the establishment are like the elites, like Bill Gates, all these celebrities. Not only is the enemy the establishment and the elites, but I also feel like we're like in a big spiritual battle. So, we're not wrestling against flesh and blood, because flesh and blood isn't the real enemy. It's the principalities and the rulers of darkness. And when you look at it, us normal people, we're all for each other. We're trying to bring each other together. We may have different viewpoints and stuff like that. And, the establishment and the elites are the ones trying to get us to fight within flesh and blood. But, the real enemy is them. The principalities and the rulers of darkness, people trying to play God, people trying to do this, do that. And it's all like, there's a bigger goal out there, you feel me? We're now, like, if people have actually sat down and paid attention, you would actually realize that the establishment is one of the biggest issues, because they're really the ones that, like, say the agenda, like, in low-key terms of, like, oh, this is racist, like, so we're going to take the All-Star game out of Georgia. Or Delta's like, we're no longer going to associate ourselves with this because this is racist. And then they have these celebrities, the elites and stuff, who just agree with it nonstop. And then it's like, they've agreed. And so regular people who are not strong-minded, they fall for the trap. And then they start agreeing with stuff that, to be honest, they technically know either nothing about, or they haven't done enough of their own research to think for themselves. And that's just being honest. Like, it makes no sense that Mark Zuckerberg and Jack, the owner of Twitter and Facebook, is like, these people have more control over people's minds than people think. Because it's like, they really could say and do, and like, they're censoring conservatives, they censor the far left, and then they only allow views that, it's like Facebook and Twitter have become its own person, its own entity. It's supposed to be a platform that people come to drop their opinions on. Now you have it like, it's a platform that has its own opinion already, and when it sees an opinion from a person that dropped its opinion onto the platform, if it doesn't agree with the platform's opinion, then it can't stay on the platform. That's like technically what's going on. It's even gotten like that with YouTube. It's like, YouTube used to just be a platform. People could speak their mind, freedom of speech, say what they wanted. But it's like YouTube has now tried to turn itself from a platform to becoming a whole human with its own opinion. And I get, like, not everything can stay like violence or threats and things like that. But it's like, we have to make platforms like a public square. Anybody can come and protest. Anybody can come and yell and shout. Anybody can say what they want. But now it's like, you come to the public square and they got rules set up already. Oh, if you're this, then you can't speak about this. Or if you talk about this, then we're just going to arrest you and take you out the public square. It's like, it needs to be, okay, this is the platform. You put your opinions on the platform. People then decide, because we're all grown, do I agree with this stuff or do I not? If I don't agree, I don't follow, I don't do any of that. I can, put my opinion to counteract what they're saying, and that's it. Everybody goes on with their business. Not, here comes this opinion, oh, I'm Twitter, I don't agree with this opinion, so I'm going to censor you, I'm going to, what is the word called? Like, shadow ban you so people can't look you up and different things like that. Like, to be honest, that's not fair. And what I see a lot happening is, it happens a lot more to the conservatives and Republicans than it does to the Democrats and liberals. Because if we're going to all keep it a buck, Twitter and Facebook are full of a liberal cesspool. Like, that's mainly what you see on those platforms. It's like a liberal cesspool. I mean, you have like the far right that's on there, But those people have already been censored, shadow banned, or kicked off the network. Now, the problem with that whole thing is, you know, a lot of people who it's like a lot of people who are liberal, who they thought, okay, yeah, they got the conservatives, Republicans off. They're now attacking you all, because once you get rid of everybody who you disagree with, then you have to start getting rid of the people who you agree with, but they don't agree 100% with what you said. So now you see like liberals getting censored and shadow banned. They're all like confused on why it's going on. It's like, this is what you asked for. You asked for this to happen by supporting it, and now it's happened to you. A good example of this is like Chrissy Teigen, another one of the elites. She was the leader of the woke mob, leading this woke BS, and now that the woke mob has come after her, it's like they're going to destroy your life. Literally, they're going to destroy your life. And you know, you can't even feel bad, because it's like, we've all told you, the people who are in the middle or the people who are slightly on the right, that this was going to happen, but nobody listened. You feel me? But yeah, that's just part of like how the elites are controlling us. So, you know, my thing is just like, I really expect people just to like, I've expected everybody at this point in time to realize that the real enemy is not Democrats if you're a conservative, or conservative if you're a Democrat. The real enemy is the establishment and the elites. We're all the same people. We just view things differently. It's okay to disagree. I don't have any problem, you know, disagreeing with someone, but we come to the consensus, okay, you know, I feel like immigrants should be led in the country. That's a Democrat point of view. I feel like we should have laws in place where immigrants have to come over legally. Okay, we don't agree, but what we do agree on is we need some sort of rule so people can get into the U.S., right? All right, so we agree on that. So now we just need to come up with some legislation. So then that goes back to the establishment. Is the establishment going to do legislation so we can let people in either legally or find some other way to do it? You feel me? That may not be as good an example, but I mean, you kind of understand what I'm saying. So, you know, you have your Democrats, you have your Republicans, and it's just like, we really just got to realize that we're going to see stuff differently. Like I said, right now, I don't see how people are Democrat, because the Democrat has been incorporating so much woke BS into their camp. It's starting to devalue the people who are Democrat. I really see a lot of Democrats leaving because they're not with this woke stuff that's happening. And, you know, they won't admit it, but they'll be on Team Republican. You know what I mean? Or Team Conservative, or, you know, just slightly voting that way, because it's like, the stuff that the Dems and the liberals are supporting is starting to get a little out of control. At least in my eyes, that's how I feel. But yeah, man, if you know, have any questions or concerns, or you enjoyed this video, you can leave a like, rating, or your comment down below. I just really want to know your all thoughts on it. Like I said, I think the real problem, or the real enemy, is the elites and the establishment. And if we could just put the difference to the side, stop listening to the racism narrative, and stop letting this woke culture take over, and actually tackle real problems like us paying lots for tax, us paying lots of taxes, how gas and how inflation is hyperinflated right now, how we need stuff to put America first, not stop allowing like China and stuff to just take over, or Russia. You feel me? If we can just get that far, then we can make a lot of progress out here in this America. But yeah, man, I hope y'all, you know, enjoyed the video. Thank you all for watching. And it has been your boy Chad, and I'm out. Peace.